Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk all about how I recovered from sensorimotor OCD, specifically blinking OCD, which is actually really funny because my allergies are really bad right now and my eyes are extremely itchy. That's that time of year in Colorado with the dust, a little bit different than the pollen stuff I was dealing with when I lived in Florida for 10 years. So I'm going to talk about all the myths surrounding blinking OCD, how I overcame blinking OCD, what I needed to do, how I had to change my beliefs. I'm going to use this book right here, which is the first book on our reading list, How to Stubbornly Refuse to Make Yourself Miserable About Anything, Yes, Anything. Why this book by itself is basically useless if you don't apply the principles over a couple years, changing the behaviors and everything else in between. Before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. I'm going to specifically make this video about blinking OCD, specifically blinking, but it is important to say that this applies to all sensory motor, especially the big five: blinking, breathing, swallowing, heartbeat, saliva, all those. Also bladder hyper-awareness of your consciousness, hyper-awareness of the bridge of your nose or a body part, but this is going to be primarily towards blinking OCD. And if you need help with me breaking down or rob blinking OCD and or any other sensory motor-based fears, please email us at info@ocdrecovery.com. Again, that is info@ocdrecovery.com, and we'll get back to you in a timely fashion. So, my OCD journey started with tinnitus in June of 2019. That's when my OCD journey became chronic. I woke up in the middle of the night having a panic attack, and I spent the next 3 months compulsively going to audiologists, researching every single thing on the American Tinnitus Association. I read every single article. I watched every single video. I was so compulsive, going to the audiologist, like I said, getting ear exams, not using headphones, not using knives. I mean, it was bad. Everything I was doing was to run from the sensations. I mean, even just hearing something like this would make me have a panic attack, like full blown. I barely slept in 90 days. I mean, I was sleeping like an hour a night, maybe more. I was so delusional because I was so tired. And then my OCD switched to blinking. And I remember when it switched in September, right after the Mr. Olympia of 2019. It switched at I think the last day in September. I was driving through Ponce Inlet, which is an area in Daytona Beach, thinking about, wow, I've made so much progress with my tinnitus. I'm becoming very comfortable with the sound. What other things have I made progress towards? Or what other things do you not notice? And that was how my brain was trying to latch on. I said, well, I don't notice my foot on the gas pedal. I don't notice my hands on the steering wheel. And then I don't notice my blinking. And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. Panic attack. Full-blown hyper-awareness about my blinking, constantly thinking about my blinking for the next few months before it switched to saliva and swallowing. So the most important thing to remember about blinking OCD, or any sensory motor OCD, but remember I'm going to keep it blinking for the remainder of this, is the blinking itself is not the problem. It's your perception on the blinking that's keeping it stuck. Am I blinking too much? Am I blinking too little? How do I get away from this blinking? That is how you actually start to break down the cycle. Now, you're going to blink. When I'm like watching this right now, if I hone in on my blinking, I'm now noticing myself blinking in this video. But I have no direct fear of noticing that. I have no direct fear of noticing my own blinking myself. So when I'm working people who have blinking OCD, which is a lot of people, they're always trying to run from their blinking sensations and or trying to compare their blinking to other people. Am I blinking correctly? Am I blinking too much? How do I not blink? And then they keep their eyes open like this. I'm not trying to blink like a staring contest. So this book right here is critical for blinking OCD. The reason why this book is critical is it's going to teach you to change the beliefs that you have surrounding your blinking. And that's a really important thing. So I'm going to go through this first, and then I'm going to go into the behaviors. So, and everyone knows I like my two favorite pages, 96, 97. So remember, we have A plus B equals C. Activating event, blinking OCD, your belief system, your irrational beliefs, those equal your consequence, such as your hyper-awareness and noticing your blinking, okay? So blinking OCD is the briefly summarize the situation as objectively as possible. What am I most disturbed about? My blinking, okay? It is terrible, it is awful to notice my blinking. I can't stand noticing my blinking. Life is not worth living if I notice my blinking. And this equals your consequence. Now, this has the emotions, and for this is anxiety, panic attacks, maybe some depression, maybe anger, and then that equals your maladaptive behaviors, such as your avoidance and your compulsive behaviors. So remember, I can't stand noticing my blinking. Noticing my blinking is terrible. It's the worst thing ever. Now, getting underneath this, and it is important to say that just reading this book and filling this out a few times is not going to make that much of a difference. It takes time to really accept and understand your beliefs. So where is holding this belief getting me? Well, it's getting me absolutely nowhere because it's getting me stuck in the cycle. Is there any evidence to support that it's actually awful? No, there's no evidence to support whatsoever that noticing my blinking is absolutely terrible. My battery just went to 20%. Sorry about that. It feels really tough, but it's not the end of the world. Now, that perspective shift takes time to actually feel, truly feel it. Can I really not stand it? Well, of course you can stand it because you're here watching this video, so you can stand it. Does it follow my logical preferences? Of course not, because a logical preference, which now goes over into your effective new philosophy, which is I would prefer to not notice my blinking. It is unfortunate, but it's not awful. I can still enjoy many things as I'm noticing my blinking, and I can still learn to accept the presence of the sensation. So that's how you actually break this down on paper, and that's an important piece of that. Now, a lot of the behaviors that we see, okay, so avoiding long drives or anything where the person is by themselves for long periods of time, avoiding any type of socializing, avoiding watching TVs or screens because they get tired and that feeling of your eyes being heavy, and then they're constantly hyper aware with that. You have to become very, very comfortable with the sensation of blinking itself. And then in time, as you start to change your perspective on your blinking, that starts to decrease. But the blinking sensation, the hyper awareness, is going to be there for a while because you're so scared of it. So remember, changing your beliefs about your sensation is an important piece. But changing the behaviors of not needing to run from your sensations is the other piece. And those come together over a long period of time and bring the person to a much better place of acceptance. Always remember, it has nothing to do with ridding yourself of your sensations. Get rid of the word habituate. Habituate means never notice again, and that's the opposite of acceptance of the sensations. That's a common mistake. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a really important, there wasn't a lot to cover. It's short and sweet. We'll do a little summary recap. Getting comfortable with your blinking sensations for long periods of time, not needing it to be gone. Getting comfortable with other people not understanding sensory motor, because most people don't. I hear a lot of stuff based around, oh, welcome the sensation in. Tell yourself that you like it. That's nonsense. That's a self-reassuring statement. That's not how it works. Acceptance doesn't mean agreement. We don't have to like the sensation. Trying to delude yourself and tell yourself that you like it won't work because we know you don't like it. So you're going to have to learn to accept the presence of the sensation. And then using this book to break down your fears is extremely important. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about OCD and blinking, let me know. If you want to reach out and have me break this down individually with you, look at all the specific things that you're avoiding, your compulsions, and we can go through this. info@ocdrecovery.com, and I'll get back to you in a very timely fashion. Have a good one, everyone.